Five, four, three, two, one. All right, peace, peace. Safo, the Honorable One, the Success Scholar. Akeem Shakur, me here. Thank you all for tuning in, listening in. Man, yes, a lot of good things are going on. A lot of good things are happening here. Wanted to take this opportunity just to say thank everybody first and foremost for the continued support in my evolution. I have my hands in a few things and just growing. And I just always am having these intellectual conversations with myself. Peace, peace, y'all. These intellectual conversations with myself, and I'm always looking at, people's, the growth as well as the humbleness of leaders, as well as individuals' abilities to bring and having the courage and integrity to bring the more informed analysis, the more informed and empowered research to our community. So, and I just had this as I continue to look at and listen to many different individuals, and I just uh, I have a sincere desire, and different leaders fall into different categories, of course. But I had this question. I said to myself, as I'm reading Dr. Claud Anderson's newest book, and here it is. I actually have Powernomics as well here, but and that's a very, very informative. Bring them on camera. Bring them on camera. Bring what? Okay, okay. Bring them on. I don't know if that's what you mean. Yeah. So this is Powernomics, of course, and what are people posting? Okay, and this is Dr. Anderson's newest, and this is a very critical historical analysis. I think that many people, unfortunately, who may not necessarily have a good historic analysis, may be geared towards many things that's not tangible, and it becomes rather unfortunate that, for instance, many people who may not necessarily have the mindset to read broadly, or the motivation to read broadly, or the consciousness to read broadly, or or the leadership, because you need leadership to actually expand your mind. You need to have a personal desire to get different information if it's not handed to you on a silver platter. And so, as I was reading this book, this one here, this is the newest one, and I do have copies. And I thought about Minister Farrakhan first and foremost, and I was looking and I'm thinking back to the Million Man March, and we just came up on the 22nd as well as the 20th anniversary of the Millions Woman March, and I asked the sister the same time, the founder of the Millions Women's March, did Mr. Sharpton or Mr. Farrakhan uh, or Roland Martin, have they reached out to uh, the sister who have this 20th anniversary? And let me just admit my, more, sometimes we have a aha moment. We have a level of consciousness that become awakened from hearing other people's stories, and I realize how, you know sometimes, like I put on a flyer, Million Woman's March founder, and sister corrected it, let me know that it's not the it's a million woman march, just like a million man march. And it dawned on me how sometimes we tend to be neglectful of our women as well, and respecting uh, our women. But I thought about, of course, I listen to Sharpton. He's on the radio most of the time, it seems, in both the DC and Baltimore market, and of course the Philadelphia market. But um, I thought about it, and I was thinking about all the different people that I've heard of have on over the years, and I said, and I know Michael Egershon, who comes on for Al Sharpton, he knows Dr. Claud Anderson, and I'm just like, I'm reading through this, and I'm just like, really? I'm like, this information, this is just three things. This is facts, histories, and numbers. It's no, opinions or anything. And let me just kind of go through some of the chapters. And it talks about how social integration failed Black America, was the history of the day's diversity policies. And I read some of these, the current issues. And well, first it starts with foundation concepts. What is a social construct and how it was used in the making of America? A Black America is more vulnerable than terrorism than other Americans. Where are all the Black leaders? Can Blacks be competitive group without group self-interest? What's the difference between a Black American and an African American? What is racism, and can a Black person be racist? So those are some of the topics. But going back, as I was listening to Al Sharpton over the past few years, I mean, a lot of time I'm just driving, and I thought about it. I was just like, man, he hasn't had Dr. Claude Anderson on, like uh, a little bit more than others that I'm aware of. And so I said, why is that? Why is that? And it that part dawned on me that perhaps sometimes we are too dependent. We're too dependent on other people. And I got that from reading some of Dr. Claude Anderson's work in his Harvest Institute, where he spoke at an event where Kwesi Mfume was present. And Kwesi Mfume said, yes, listen to Dr. Claude Anderson, but don't get too close to it because you might not get no money. So what I'm saying is that although you may, have to get money from other people, don't never think and stay content, never be content with what token handouts you may get. And what I'm seeing is that unfortunately many individuals are content, with the disproportionate poverty that are in this society. So getting to Minister Farrakhan, and uh, objectively speaking, I'm just like, I had to do this video. I had to. I feel that I had to let people know. I mean, that I know people, they have various levels of intelligence, and I'm not questioning their unique intelligence, but the relevant practical messages that our community need is certainly this is one of the more critical analysis that our community needs at this time. And I think about the missed opportunities with the Justice or Else movement, or even this year with the rally that happened. I'm sorry, not the rally, but in Newark, where they had the Million Man's March, 22nd anniversary, uh, as well. For instance, the other marches before that. And I'm just like, there's this level of disconnect. And I just mentioned these two leaders, these particular two, because they have, perhaps a more unique audience. And I need to, you know, put it out there that, look, I mean, this out there is getting old, but, this particular work so you can't necessarily question the facts of what has happened legally and ethically within this society. And so, and I've heard, for instance, not just Mr. Farrakhan, for instance, not giving or offering a platform, but not even mentioning his work. I've never heard him mention the work. I've heard him mention Akbar, Dr. Naeem Akbar. For instance, I've heard him say something about Dr. Welsing. He comes to DC to Reverend Willie Wilson's church every once in a while. I've heard him mention Tyler Perry. I've heard him mention Oprah. I've heard him mention Snoop Dogg, and hung out with Snoop Dogg. I've heard him mention, what's his name, Eddie Long. So all of these different individuals who I've heard the minister actually mention, I mean, in the bigger picture, you know, I'm not thinking that we need to really listen to them, or we need to hear what they are putting out. This is the book, sister. It's a Black History Reader. 101 questions you never thought to ask. 101 questions you never thought to ask. Holler at me. I have copies. So I'm just doing this right now, and I know people feel a certain way about different people that they followed over the years, but it's time to shake that up. You gotta expand your mind. And unfortunately, many people, they are so emotionally uh, you know defeated. They feel like they gotta hold on to individuals forever, that they have to you're welcome. They feel that they have to only listen to more. This is brother Lakeem. Thank you, brother, but I'm saying he ain't doing enough, brother. I mean, respectfully, he's not doing enough. He hasn't. Well, this is what you can do, and tell and pass it to my brother and friend Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Just like I will respect his work. This is what, and you get yourself a copy as well. Okay, well, I'm saying here, this is what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna move to more informed thinkers here. We're gonna move to facts, history, and numbers. We're gonna deal with reality. We're gonna deal with practicality, and we're gonna stay on Earth, and we're gonna deal with relevant building and ownership. That's where we're going to have to go. We got to deal with practical nation building, practical work. And so, what I'm saying, I, you know, yes, but okay. Hey, this is what I need you to do. I need you to read this book. Go read like you should be reading. This is not a disrespectful comment. I'm gonna, I'm the success scholar. I've read hundreds of books. I read Message to the Black Man, The Fall of America. Uh, a few, The Messenger has arrived. So, Time to Eat to Live. I'm saying I'm not someone to feel that this is a disrespectful thing, but we're going to get smart here. Black people are going to get smart about who we listen to, and we're gonna deal with reality. For instance, in Detroit, when we went to Detroit some years ago here, right? Uh, Several individuals, for instance, attempted. Okay, well, it's time for new leaders, brother. It's time for new leaders, new informed leaders. You need to read. You need to read stuff. You need to go and read. That's what I'm gonna tell you to do. You need to be well read and well informed. This is not emotional. Just go and read more informed individuals, so you can be a respectful leader. That's it. It's a new day, new time. Only real scholars today are gonna be accepted. That's what's going to happen. So again, for those people that are not just followers, that are not just worshiping individuals, this is we're going to deal with more intellectually evolved beings. So going back to these, okay, all right. What is has education been a great racial equalizer? What was Material's manumission, and does it still apply to blacks? The social integration policy have a hidden racial quota. Why do blacks need communities instead of neighborhoods? Should black Americans practice socioeconomics as a team? How are demographics changing in majority black urban cities? Why did the founding father use ambiguous terms to refer to blacks in the U.S. Constitution? Why are the black slaves classified as three-fifths as a human? Is the 13th Amendment legal according to the U.S. Constitution, and did it end slavery? I've done everything. I've done everything. Yes, I've done everything. That's what I've done. That's what you need to know. That's what I did. I read a lot of books, and yes, I've done everything. That's what I've done. That's what I'm doing. Look it up. Stop being a groupie. Stop being a follower. Read a book. Don't be a cult member. So let me get to this back here. For nearly 500 years, blacks in America have lived within a continuum of socioeconomic systems: legalized slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, political correctness. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Maldistribution of nearly 1,000% of the nation's wealth, land, resources, and rights, privileges, control all levels of government into the hands of whites. Simultaneously, those systems consign blacks into an impoverished, powerless underclass. The denied fruit of their labor, freedom, and basic rights, it was impossible for blacks to be anything other than what white society wanted them to be. The U.S. Constitution and the court system and the majority corporations were all complicit in locking blacks into a carefully designed social construct on race. That social construct, instituted even before the official founding of the nation, was so culturally entrenched that not the Civil War, the Black Civil Rights Movement, or social integration could significantly alter its effects. All right. So, A Black History Reader, Dr. Claud Anderson's fifth book, was written to highlight and examine this ignored social construct on race. Its effects on Black Americans and strategies they can use to take advantage of its weakness. Using a question and answer format, Dr. Anderson focuses on the ideology of white racism embedded within the social construct. The nation, however, ignores the exceptionality of Black Americans, treat them as guests, then promotes the untruth that all groups have contributed equally in the development of this nation. Neither natives nor immigrants learn accurate history of the nation and the fact that blacks were an economic engine that drove the country's development. A Black History Reader corrects the myths, distortions, lies, and omissions about the exceptional contribution of blacks. This is based on socioeconomic self-empowerment principles of powernomics. So buy it, read it, and then eradicate racism. Sorry, brother Lakeem, you're speaking. No. I'm sorry. No, sir. Read. You got to know history. You don't know history right now because you haven't read enough. You haven't studied enough, and I'm talking practicality, practical analysis, and unfortunately, for those that want to live and prosper, you got to read and study. And I'm not talking about God and spaceships and aliens. I don't. Adult beings don't need to follow aliens, and we're not waiting on no spacecraft. We're not gonna get into I'm not paying for anybody to do anything to my brain or anything like that. So And this wasn't, attempted to be, a disrespectful thing, but some people, you know, want to dumb our people down and have zombies. But we're not zombies. We're conscious African beings, huh? We're black people. We can think, we can read, we can reason. Uh, yeah, I got him. I got him. I'm just checking him. He's a smart brother, but he's just a follower. He doesn't read and he doesn't think enough of himself. You gotta be a thinker to be able to read different people's books, and I've done that. So I've studied much of their work. So much respect to those that can think and read and not just be a follower. And I don't need to hear about Tyler Perry. I don't need to hear about Eddie Long. I don't need to hear about Snoop Doggy Dogg or anyone else. No, like expose our people to the right individuals. That's what I need, and that's what we need. And so, for those that are out here that desire to make the right progress in this society, and to move forward, we're going to listen to inform, people that deal with facts, history, and numbers, and that's all we're saying. And for people to not give proper respect to other the real leaders and want the Hollywood leaders, the people who don't have the right knowledge, I just put my knowledge up to any of this, any of these different people out here that just think I'm being angry or something like that. I'm just saying, as I'm reading this book, I'm like, this is facts. This is just facts, and people can take the information and they can pretend it's theirs if they want, but give credit where credit is due. So I'm saying that for those that about true progress and not running from information, like some people do. Some people run from knowledge. Some people don't want to read people's books unless it comes out of some great messianic leader's mouth, or somebody gotta put a Bible or Quran over it before anyone respects it. I understand that's what the powers that be created many of us to do. Just only respect people's uh, uh, beliefs if it's attached to some fairy tale. You know, but and this is where the real adult, unemotional, un those that have a free way of thinking and reading and dissecting intelligent information. So for those that like what I had to say, again, you can get the book. Holla at the Success Scholar. Of course, I have both, and again, I've read this 3 times some years ago, and I've gotten it into the hands of several unique politicians and activists, certainly in the Baltimore as well as Prince George's County area, as well as all up and down the East Coast. But I've exposed dozens and hundreds of individuals to this particular work, and attempted to cross-reference this particular work over the years. And so, again, of course, there's other parts and pieces, and I don't necessarily push this as like the golden uh, the golden grail, if you will. I don't hold it up as this is the divine message. This is divine message inspired by God. No, this is just for more intellectual enhancement. So for those that would like to continue to allow for those who uh, want to keep us disempowered, and they do not want to expose our community to this type of information, and for our children and for our future, we need to distance ourselves from them. Eventually, they're going to fall off because eventually they simply do not and will not have a level of depthness, of intellectual depthness to be able to stand up in this society that is, economically marginalizing our communities. And so, again, this is a more progressive, more informed historical narrative as well as contemporary narrative. I would sincerely hope that the wise individuals, the readers, the real scholars that are out here can be informed and progressive enough to open their mind and diversify their research, diversify their content of which they attempt to study to analyze the condition that we find ourselves in today and why, for instance, we find ourselves in these particular conditions. And so, with that being said, I apologize. I mean, I didn't think that I, sounded a little abrasive to any Mr. Sharpton or Mr. Farrakhan, but again, it is what it is. We're gonna have we reaching a stage now where new leadership is here. Old movements are gonna old movements that are not keeping up with the right information, with the right research and the right intel, you're simply just gonna vanish away. You're going to become irrelevant to the more progressive, and this happens in life. With several companies, for instance, if you do not stay abreast of what's going on around you and continue to allow for information to bypass you, and particularly when dealing with life giving and life uh, saving messages and research and scholarship. Before our great brother and teacher elder, Dr. Claud Anderson, makes his transition, as we have lost many of our great thinkers, Dr. Welston, Dick Gregory, many of our great elders have transitioned. I have to, do my part to say that, however anyone feels that, I did my part. And if Lakeem, this guy Lakeem, who's a friend of Dr. Wesley's, if Dr. Wesley is an intelligent man, if he's an independent man, he will promote other leaders' books. He won't just bow down to any man. He will bow down to more intellectual depth of knowledge. And so, you can't be like a little child to me. I'm bringing the knowledge. I can stand on what I know, what I can cross reference, what's facts, what's history, what's numbers. And you can't stand on that. And you can't stand on, giving props to Tyler Perry or Eddie Long, but don't, and Snoop Dogg, but don't give, some props and expose our community to this brother. So I'm saying, and I'm not worried about any so-called leader out here, any at all. This is not like a hostile thing, but I'm simply saying that I have enough consciousness, read enough books, and have enough success. Like somebody said, well, what have you done? I've done every damn thing. If you too slow to know, I've done everything. That's what I've done. That's what I've done. That's what I've continued to do. If you don't know, you just a slave. And that's how I'm just gonna carry it from now on. You just a slave. You may be jealous or you just may be stupid, and we don't have time for inappropriate misleaders that are misdirecting black people outside of the more relevant practical teachings. And that's what we need. We don't need no more space invaders. We don't need no more messianic wait pie in the sky, or we're gonna get in the wheel, or whatever else anybody's trying to teach us. We just gonna study the right unique practical data that's out here. I'm not interested in anything else. We've gone through the Million Man March, the Million Family March, Justice or Else, and still, if you, I mean, you know, if you really that conscious, you would have put this in one of those speeches. So again, and give proper respects to those intellectual giants. And I shouldn't be the only one. I shouldn't be the only intellectual giant to be humble enough and not jealous of a great scholar and researcher, you know, who laid out some critical historical data that none of these other so-called leaders, even Al Sharpton who has a large platform. I should have added, what's his name? Uh, what's what's the guy? Man, I'm pitching his face. Boule Bird, Roland Martin. I should have mentioned him. You know, you would think, you know, that he, you know, has a little bit more independence, and he would have the intellectual depth to be as diverse enough to say, you know, I'm reading this book by Dr. Claud Anderson. You know, I think it's a historical facts. You know, I think, you know, I mean, and Dr. Anderson's not underground enough. Like, you know, I mean, he's has enough credentials to people. And I raised the question like at the Congressional Black Caucus, like out of all of these years, last year the so-called Congressional Black Caucus, they didn't even have him to speak after Donald Trump. After Donald Trump was elected, I'm like, you know, something ain't right with these Negroes, man. Let me just make it plain. You know, something's not clicking. You know, yes, sir. Yeah, I may be going out of town, brother, but yeah, yeah. This is some good stuff. I mean, some of the he just kind of words it different. You know, some of the powernomics stuff is in there, but he, you know, it's some good pieces in the question and answer format, and I think that that's a good read for some people that may not have read the Powernomics or so I'm just putting it out there. It's for real adult thinkers, real mature readers. I'm not gonna try to sit and wait for some of these organizations, some of these leaders to intellectually grow and mature and be humble and support other individuals that with a book, like with your voice, let our people know what's out here, right? Let the community know that there are thinkers out here that are researching our history and many different unique facts that may not necessarily be known. So, but yeah, definitely wait for me, brother. I definitely get it to you. If not, this weekend, certainly, as soon as I get back, maybe heading out. But yeah, maybe heading down and be back in town Sunday. So, but yeah, that's all I have, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Thank everybody. Thank you, brother Musa. So again, hope I hope everybody will, you know, eh, we got to expand the respect levels of particular teachers and our great and greatest uh, elders who laid out particular research for us in our community. And so you can't talk about you for our community and have a progressive, more informed analysis than what I see, what I've read here. And I haven't even read the whole book, but I'm just like, man, this is really, and this is really on point, So, all right, brothers, let me get on out here, man. I know I done upset some people. I'm upset some folks. Some folks gonna have to go get a Ingrid or whatever the hell people get to clear their minds. But progress is being made. Stay connected, on the move. Stay connected to the Success Scholar building a conscious, relevant, empowered movement here in the 21st century. Thank you, brother. I'm out. Brother Musa, Lee, Brother Don Ye, Sister Don Ye, Donnell, peace and blessings, everybody. I'm out.